Welcome back, everybody. We're getting into the game immediately here as the teams kick it off with even a chance of us being able to switch it up. I mean, after that, that was a goal immediately.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
all it takes.
That is quite literally all it takes. We didn't even get a chance to introduce any of the players at the moment.
That was a beautiful bounce, though, off the ground, though. Just the way he was able to angle that, it bounced perfectly over the two people who were just getting back into goal off the kickoff.
Yeah, 100%, as we are just immediately kicking it off into this goal. We have St. John's in orange and Provisional in Providence in blue. I mean, yeah, immediately scoring there. That's going to put St. John's up very, very early.
Now, don't get me wrong. I know it's very early to call out which team is going to be better, but so far, the aggressive and just high-flying team has seemed like it's going to be St. John. Providence has been able to go and, back and forth a couple blows here and there with a couple shots of their own, but so far, everything out of the side of St. John has looked great. Pass plays up and over the middle, double commits coming out of the side of Providence. I think St. John's going to take this one, possibly even 3-0. I know it's early, but that's my prediction.
Well, you were calling that very, very early. But so if we go through the teams real quick, on the side of Providence we have Gamaliel, Cardona, and Sammy, as we are going to see St. John's taking the second goal just in time. Is that just in time? Oh, just in time for Steam or Street. We're going to call him Justin. Justin managing to find the goal there to bring it up the second one. And on the side of St. John's, we do have Primal, Justin, and their third player, whose name I don't have actually listed anywhere.
Baseball 124.
Baseball 124. Thank you very, very much there. And
you are very welcome.
Is that going to be goal 3?
Oh my God! This is blowing my mind. I mean, I said it was a little early to call it, but I think right now we can definitely say that we know which one or which team is the dominant team, taking advantage of every little nook and cranny that they're given, and in that case, a very open goal is their little nook and cranny that they have to fit into. But off the kickoff again, it looks like it. Oh, now Sammy's just gone AFK on the field. It looks like he's given up on his team at this point.
Oh wait, no, there we go. Okay, I mean they might have had some communication. I believe that all of St. John. Oh, and we're going to see the fourth goal coming out.
Another AFK person on the side of Providence. So maybe some technical issues going on. I'm not exactly sure what's happening here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've not been...
You would hope, at least.
Yeah, I've not been informed of anything anywhere. So, yeah, I can't say that there's technical issues until somebody informs me. So we are just going to keep playing this out as we're going to see goal 5 coming out to St. John's.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to Vegas after this one.
I mean, assisted by Primal there, rocking the G2 look, which, I mean, big G2 fan, I'm going to be honest. Coming out, I mean, are we going to see them start making a comeback here? Is there... I'm trying to see somewhere if anybody's saying that they're having technical issues.
No, I think the guy that was AFK is back in the action. I honestly think that this is just going to serve as kind of a reset for the side of Providence. They're going to play this one out, see if they can get any goals here on the side of St. John. Just know this one's kind of chalked from the beginning. I think they obviously, if they're scoring 5 goals off the rib, they should probably be under the assumption that, hey, we're probably going to lose this first match. Let's go ahead and go into game. They're probably already thinking about the game 2 strategies and setups and think that they need to do better. But right there, you just see a triple commit out of the side of Providence, and that's the stuff that you can't afford to have when you're playing against such a good St. John team.
Okay, yeah. I mean, apparently Providence was confused about something, but that seems to have been fixed now. So hopefully this was just a blunder of miscommunication on their end, and now after these next couple games, I mean, we haven't seen St. John's score again. So maybe now they're getting warmed up a little bit. It's the first game for them. It's the first set. So we shouldn't presume too quickly that nothing's going to occur here.
Of course, and it's always those jitters, right? No matter at what level you're at, you're going to get at least to some degree a little bit of jitters right at the beginning of the game. But so far, from everything that I've seen in this game, again, Providence hasn't been obviously the best here, but again, they were a little bit confused about something. I think the biggest thing, though, that we need to kind of touch up on is that St. John's,
Yes.
they haven't been able to score anything unless it was off a kickoff.
Yeah, that's also very true. Also, at the same time, scoring 5 goals off of kickoff is a bit like, oh, nice. And there we go. We see Providence taking their first goal, and this is it, right? They're a little bit confused. I fully believe they'll bring it back for game 2. I think it's a little bit hard in a minute and a half to score 5. Definitely possible. But yeah, we'll see if they can manage to bring it back. If they bring this back and even it out 5-5 before the end of this round, again, I think everything's up in the air.
If they take this 5-5, I'm leaving the stream and I'm going to streak the stream.
Okay, well, don't do that, because I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
I'm in a gated white community, we're good.
Okay, well, there you go.
Well, no, there's children here, so I probably
don't
shouldn't
do
do
that.
that.
Anyway, Gamma here, managing to try and clear it out. Again, Providence now starting to set it up a bit more, start taking a bit more control. And I think that's the most important thing, right? Now that they're starting to build themselves out a little bit, they're getting some reads, they're making some good plays. Again, I don't think they're going to catch up this first game, but I would be very surprised if any of the future games end up in a similar scoreline.
I don't think we'll see anything like a 5-1. Maybe for the side of Providence, if they want to come out and make a statement in one of these games. But I think one of the things that they kind of touched up on before was the fact that this game is just going to be a feeler game. Really get a kind of get response to how that they can deal with the pressure like this, being down 5-1, and also just getting in the mindset ready for game 2. They want to have at least a little bit of momentum going into the next game, and getting a couple goals here is going to really help that.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree on that one. And trying to gain back that momentum after getting 5 kickoff goals fit in against you is it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. But again, mentally, they just need to take this game to reset and act like it never happened.
Yeah,
as game 1 does go to St. John's.
Can't say that any better myself. It's honestly just going into a reset. You're going to act like you're down, or the score of the next game is going to be 0-0, like you've got no pressure on your shoulders, because once you start to play with pressure, like we said before, pressure always is going to get to you one way or another. Some players just don't feel pressure whatsoever, but at the end of the day, if it gets down to those last ticking seconds and you're down 0-2 in a series, you're definitely going to start to feel it. Hello?
Well,
Oh. I just want to make sure you're. I thought I cut out or something like that. Get ready for next game, though. I mean, St. John up 5-1. If we're looking at this in a, a betting fashion, like I kind of like to do, who do you see taking this next game? Hello?
Well, I'm trying to sort out the issue here. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to be going.
I was like,
yeah,
so
I'm trying to set this up. So I believe I'm trying to figure out if we're gonna repeat that first game there after there was a bit of confusion.
Well, any more Rocket League, I'd be happy to completely abide by. So if that game 1 didn't count, maybe we'll see a very close game number 1 this next time by. If it did count, well, that just has even more for Providence to come back and be a little angry about here in game number 2. We're just gonna have to see where this goes. I guarantee though that they're trying to fight for that game 1 replay just so they don't have to climb out of that early deficit here. Folks in the chat, how we doing today? Hopefully everybody's having a fantastic Sunday. Maybe watching some football, maybe watching some football from across the pond, or perhaps even watching some NASCAR later in the day, like I know I will be myself. Starts at 3 o'clock Eastern for anybody that's interested in watching NASCAR. It's going to be at Texas Motor Speedway round number 3 of the playoffs, and of course it's the second race of this 3rd round. I don't know why I'm talking about NASCAR, but it pertains to cars, right?
Yes.
Maybe not with soccer balls, but they're fast and they're fun to watch if you know what's going on. If not, you're literally just watching cars go around in circles. So I don't, rat on anybody for, not watching it. Just watching the ending of this last game, and I'm really just focusing on, what things went wrong for the side of St. John's near there at the end of the game. Because, for the last, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes, they didn't score a single goal that entire time. Maybe it was just them knowing that they had such a lead that they didn't really need to try anymore. Maybe the side of Providence didn't want another goal scored on them, and they were trying to set a tone for the second game.
Yeah, there's a possibility there.
My oh my, if you're a tanking Miami Dolphins fan, folks, we are tied 7-7 with the Jets, and that's not something we like to see. I mean, 2 AFKs will give it. Oh, of course, 2 AFKs will definitely give you a 5-1 scoreline. It's not the most surprising thing. I honestly didn't even know they were AFK until, the third goal went in.
Yeah.
That's when I started seeing one AFK, so poggers to that, right?
Yeah. Oof.
I just took a big gulp of water. That was fantastic. That's making my insides tingle with joy.
Yeah, we're just trying to...
Has any word come out about anything potentially happening yet, or is HQ not come down with your final word?
We might be redoing match 1. I'm just waiting.
Now that is exciting.
Confirmation.
That speculation right there might be more exciting than game 1 altogether.
100%. We're going to cut to a quick break as we figure this one out, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. We'll be back momentarily. Hello everybody and welcome back. We've spoken to both the team captains and we've decided to just let St. John's have that game after a bit of miscommunication coming out from everybody's part. And we are moving into game 2 immediately here as, yeah, St. John's took game 1. But again, I don't think that really means anything due to the amount of confusion that was in that first game.
The indication I got from that last game was that this one is going to be a heck of a lot closer than the last one was, just because of what happened after that first initial 2 minutes of the game. Once we got to those last 3 minutes, the side of St. John's didn't score another goal for the entire game, and of course that's always a potential of just because, you know, they had such a big lead and they really didn't need to score anymore, but the side of Providence played extremely well on the defensive and offensive end. They were able to get a goal when obviously St. John's wasn't able to. Yeah, no, and that, again, managing to score that one goal just proves, I think, that like this is much closer than it appeared in game 1. Again, and I mean, look at this, right? Providence is already putting pressure onto St. John's. It's in their side of the field. They're bringing it back, centering it here. Gamma looking to try and make something happen there. Unfortunately, doesn't quite get the connection that he was looking for. Let's touch on the double commits here from the side of St. John's. Another one right there. Pinches it right in front of the goal for an opportunity to the side of Providence, and they're going to capitalize on the mistakes of St. John's. Gamaliel? Yeah, Gamaliel. I'm just calling him Gamma. Yep, Gamma. Gonna put it right in for the first goal of the game, and again, capitalizing on the mistakes of St. John's. It's gonna cost them on those double commits. It's gonna cost them here early in game number 2, as Providence takes the score in the lead. Yeah, Providence here taking this early lead feels, you know, it shows that last game was, again, a bit of a confusion. They were trying to figure things out, and now bringing it in, they are going to manage to take this early lead, which is exactly what we want to be seeing, you know? Whew. Oh, I agree with that 100%. And again, they're putting so much pressure onto the side of St. John's that compared to last game, you could almost say it looked like the scoreline was flipped. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but just the amount of offensive possession I'm seeing from the side of Providence is proving the point that they were trying to prove last game and continue to prove here in the series. They have come here to play. Game 1, it was a fluke. It was a mistake, as you said, on communication by all ends, and unfortunately, it just didn't go in their way in terms of getting a possible replay. But now, up the wall, off the backside, Gamaliel is there for the touch, but isn't able to put it in. Another offensive try there as they do rotate back. Yeah, I mean, now we're just heading into halfway through this match, and there's only been one goal in the entire game so far. Like, there's a lot of back and forth here. We see St. John starting to put on the aggression a little bit, back and forth, recentering the ball. This ball is spending more time center field than either one side of the goals at the moment. It's been a very high-flying, action-packed game, too. Not only has this ball been pretty much in the air for more time than it's been on the ground, but both of these teams are making very solid touches right there, and of course, when I say that, you see a missed touch off the opposite side, but in those situations, you just kind of are in a guessing game at a lot of those stages. And that's what Rocket League is. It's guessing what your opponents are going to do next. It's guessing the next mistake, but a little bit of a 1-2 action here, trying to put it in towards the middle. A beautiful setup towards the goal, but Primal was there for the save, but just a little bit behind. If his teammate would have been there a little bit sooner, Providence would have been up 2-0. Yeah, I mean, and if Providence were up 2-0, again, they'd definitely be feeling really good about themselves here. They're just trying to keep St. John's from scoring anything at the moment, because going from a 1-5 game to a 1-0 game really shows drastic improvement, since now they are competing to the level that they should have been in game 1. This is showing what everything showed in the last game. I know I've said that before this game, but you just have to look at the raw, basic facts. If we look at the scoreboard right now, the side of Providence, 5-4 on the shots on goal, making another one, so now 5-5, but look who's been able to capitalize on those 5 shots. It's been Providence. We said it was only kickoff goals that St. John could score in that game number 1, and it's continued to look the exact same. Now an accidental pinch is going to force that one back out towards middle map, and an offensive try now for the side of Providence. Yeah, Cardona here looking to set it up center field and almost double committed by himself there for that goal. He set it up and then also went to go for the shot.
We did see a nice little, a nice clear coming out from Primal, though. Managed to stop that one from happening as Gamma taking control of this ball at the moment. Gets it past one of the defenders of St. John's here, looking to set it up center field for Cardona. Cardona, though, getting a bit of a misread and doesn't prepare himself in the right situation as Primal now running it down mid, intercepted by Sammy, though. I mean, every time we see St. John's at the moment manage to get some control of the ball, Providence is just here saying, you know what, actually, we would like that.
Oh, that could have been such an easy goal for Providence right there. Another double commit. At this level, we still are seeing those double commits that we don't see at a lot of other, you know, top level competitive aspects in different, you know, play. I don't really know where I was going with that with the wording, but I know what I was trying to say. What I'm trying to say here is the double commits out of both of these teams, it's kind of absurd for where they're playing at and how they're playing, but Providence going to be able to bounce back and take game number 2. Only 1 goal scored there, but that's how it was after the first 2 minutes of that last game. Will that continue to be how it plays out here in the next couple of games?
Yeah, just like that, Providence has said, like, oh, you know what? This is just a best-of-3 series, and we're bringing it out. We're resetting the bracket a little bit here, and just moving on.
Moving on, indeed, and to game number 3, we will go tied up 1 apiece, and I would say it's going to be hard to stop this Providence side. St. John, yes, they had the same amount of shots on goal. They had the same amount of saves as well, but it's all about capitalizing on mistakes. We say it game in and game out, but it is so important for these teams to be creative with their touches, put the ball where no one else will be able to get it but their teammates, and that was what Providence was able to do in that 1 goal that they scored this game. Assists are always big, no matter when.
Waiting to get into the next match here. I mean, Providence has come back here with a really good attitude. They've managed to bring back the game. Like, you know, unfortunately, like we said, game 1, it was unfortunate, right? And they took it with such a great attitude and so respectful of everybody, and very quickly moved on and have now won the second game.
A cool head is the best head to have when you're playing in any competitive scene, whether it's in a physical sport, whether it's esports, no matter what it is, a cool, calm, and collected head is always what is going to put you above your competitors. And so far, that's been the side of Providence. We heard them when they were talking a little bit earlier while trying to solve the conflict. They were very cool about it, like you said. And in that game, they kept their composure. Composure is a big thing that we haven't touched up on, and composure is key. Again, just like keeping a cool head, composure is what gets your team settled down and ready to play those next couple games, and that's what we've seen from the side of Providence so far, even with the double commits.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, we keep mentioning the double commits. We've seen St. John double commit plenty of times as well at the moment, right? Like, we saw it at their goal, and it's not going to be goal 1 go to Providence already? It is! Look at that.
The double commit just worked for them. Somehow, some way, the double commit worked, and they ended up getting a high-powered pull shot out of it.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. Immediately, Providence takes the lead in this game, and are we going to see a repeat of game 2, where now the clock just gets run down without any goals?
It's highly possible, but I don't think it's going to last this time. I think both of these teams are very good in different aspects, and I think, keyword I think, that Providence might be able to keep this one and hang on, but St. John's, don't count them out of this one yet. They didn't score last game, but they didn't play terrible either. They had the same amount of shots on goal, same amount of saves. As we said before, this one could very easily swing in the favor of St. John's if they just find that one secret recipe that they didn't have last game. It's all about those mid-game adjustments and those mid-round adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, no, you're 100% correct on that one. It is very, very close in making those little adjustments and trying to score something out here. St. John's need to be able to find some form of spacing here to get those longer shot goals that we saw them get earlier on the kickoffs. And if they, or just commit to something, St. John's just need to find a way to score.
They do. It simply said enough, exactly what you said. They need to find a way to score. It's very hard to gauge 2 teams in Rocket Leagues, or even a team in Rocket League after just 2 games. You could be on, you could be off. It's very hard to tell what's happening. I tried to gauge St. John as the high favorites there in game number 1 without even realizing that the side of Providence had players AFK. And here so far, 2 minutes has ticked off the clock, and still we only have 1 goal with a couple of missed opportunities from both teams so far.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, that's exactly it. Is St. John's were scoring, but when St. John's was scoring, Providence had 2 AFK players.
Yeah, and they were all off kickoff goals as well when they weren't able to get rotated and set up for those next wave of opponents that were going to be coming in very, very shortly. But right there, you're going to see Cardona. He's going to be able to put it towards that right side. Baseball is going to bring this one closer towards his goal to try and get a back pass to Justin. Justin now for a long clear over towards the opposition of Providence, but Providence will get a nice clear back towards the side of St. John's for now.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth at the moment. Gamma here tapping it once, getting it passed back to him, tapping it again, going to center it for his team, but nobody. Cardona there looked like he was going to try and set something up, but unfortunately just went for the boost, didn't quite find it. And again, we see St. John trying to run it down. They're getting lots of pressure in now, but there's always just somebody in the goal on the side of the Providence.
That's just great rotations, if we're being completely honest. When you always have someone back, when you always have someone in goal ready to make a play over towards the defensive side, that's what we call rotating to the best of your abilities. When you have players ready to make those plays, ready to make those, you know, long-range clears, or even just pass plays out of your own goal, it's going to help you tenfold, and that's exactly what the side of Providence has been able to do the last couple of times. But the side of St. John's, their aggression has become very, very clear.
Yeah, I mean, that aggression coming out is very, very handy. Trying to find something at the moment. They've got a minute left onto the clock to try and connect somewhere here. They need to find something, an inch, right? If I feel like if Providence give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and they will just run it back as fast as they can.
Beautiful pass there towards the middle from Primal.
Yeah, this could be it here. Justin managing to find something there, but Gamma. These means they're so close here. Is this gonna? No. It's unbelievably close. St. John's are literally just inches away from evening it out 1-1 in this second or in this third game. It's got to be frustrating on the side of St. John's, right? Because you keep getting these really close goals. You think, and there's going to be goal 2 coming out to Providence. Yeah, if you're the side of St. John's, you're not feeling great at the moment, right? Because that first game that you won, you got 5 goals off kickoff. You didn't know at the time that people were having technical issues, miscommunication, and then immediately coming into game 2 and 3, you just can't seem to score. And as I say that, we might be able to see a goal coming up for St. John's here. Gamma saving it, a bit of a retort coming out.
What a play from Sammy! Oh my god! They had an opportunity to score there, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Sammy just made the play of the game. He flew from the right side of the screen, came down on top of the side of the St. John's player, and completely took an angle away from him. But now Primal's going to be able to take one here, but that's their first score. You talked about getting an inch and taking a mile. When they had an opportunity before that goal was set up, they had an inch. They actually had maybe even several inches to take a shot, but they only try to take centimeters in those inches. But right there, they take the mile, as you mentioned. And now will they run with it? Will they score one more? They have the ability to do it. It's going to be Gamma to try and make the save. He's going to be able to touch it up, but it's in front of the goal. Can he put this one down? Puts it for his teammate, but Baseball's not going to be able to make the touch. Sammy in the corner. That's going to be it for game number 3. Providence come back in game number 2 to win 1-0. They take the game there in game number 3, and this one, 2-1. They go up 2-1 in the series. And is this going to be enough for Providence to maybe secure this series, or will we see another exciting game number 5 like we did in series number 1?
Yeah, I mean, oof. Coming in now, we're going to go. I mean, this right now is match point for Providence, who at the time, I mean, lost game 1. They've managed to turn it around completely. It
doesn't bother me so much as just kind of hurts my heart when I see a team like St. John think and have such high optimism after that first game for then it to get shut down in the next 2. They have a potential that they're trying to play up to, but I think at this point, they just know that Providence is going to be able to capitalize, and they have a very good defense. It all goes back to what we were talking about way, way earlier in the stream, where we were talking about the creativity and the ability to have mature plays on the offensive side. You have to be able to get those passes in towards middle map. Those wall passes don't work at a high level. you know, it's just not going to happen if you're just riding along the wall. Even those passes up along that back high wall right above the goal, it's not going to do anything for you if the defense is up and flying high as you. Those fast aerials, those fast plays, not missing your boost marks, it's what Providence has been doing, and they've been able to capitalize it on the offensive defensive end.
Yeah, no, 100%. And as we're getting into Game 4 now, this could be the nail in the coffin for St. John's, or just like we saw earlier in the day with Marquette, where they managed to bring it back from Seton Hall.
It's very true. Very, very true. And like we saw in that game, the side of Seton, the side of Seton Hall, they tried to turn it up a little bit there, but unfortunately unfortunately for Seton Hall, at least, Marquette was able to bring that one back and, like you said, win those last 2 out of those 5 games. So will it be the same story here? They had an opportunity there, but weren't able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I mean, again, a minute gone from the clock already. No goals to be heard. A lot of pressure coming out. It's Providence as Caster's curse coming in. As soon as I say no goals have come out, a goal comes out.
Oh my goodness. It was... You see a little bit of a nice little side flip twist right there, and it was kind of pretty the way he put that one up and over the side of St. John's, but you got to think, when you're at a position like that on the side of St. John's, is that just a small fluke, or is that going to continue to bleed over into the next couple games?
Yeah, I mean...
If we do, of course, get there.
Yeah, it might bleed in. I mean, like I said, this could be Providence's game, set, match.
Low-flying, low-scoring games for both of these teams. This could very possibly even do it within the first minute of the game for both of these teams.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is when we look at all of our prior games like today, right? The last 2 sets, of course, we had Xavier versus DePaul game 1, and then Marquette against Seton Hall. And both those games were, I'd say, fairly high. We had like 8-9 goal games. So coming into this with St. John's and Providence, it's very tame in that sense, right? It's a lot calmer. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just means both of these teams are playing very, very well on defense.
Not only are they playing very well on defense, but it means they're very evenly matched as well. I mean, we saw, obviously, in game number 2 with the 1-0 score. I'm not really going to count game number 1 for what it's worth, because it's just that. It really wasn't technically... I mean, it was a part of the series, but it technically wasn't, just because of what happened at the beginning of it. So game number 2, we see 1-0. Low-scoring game, low-profile game from both of the teams. It was the first team that scored first. They took the blood, and they took the game. Game number 2, 2-1. Same story. Low-scoring game, not a lot of opportunities for either team. Well, I shouldn't say that. A lot of opportunities for either team, but not a lot of capitalization on those.
Yeah. Oh, as we see St. John's here trying to do something. The triple commit into the defense there, though, giving a lot of boost to the side of St. John's. Demolition coming out from Justin as they're trying to find something here. St. John's really turning off the heat. Justin being there, ready to defend, as they almost left the goal wide open for Providence to run it back.
That would have been a very dangerous situation, not only for the side of St. John's, but a dangerous position for the side of Providence. We've been able to see them capitalize on a few things. We've been able to see them take advantage of a couple opportunities, but nothing too major. Even when they've had wide open goals, sometimes they don't put it in. And that's just a matter of nerves and knowing that there's a wide open goal. You even see the pros miss those types of shots sometimes, but a wide open goal, Primal is there for the shot, and they tie things up 1 apiece with a minute 35 left. Another low-scoring game, but still a lot of time to make magic happen.
Yeah, I mean, clearing it up there, bringing it in 1-1, a minute 35 left onto the clock. St. John's are saying, okay, we you know, there was some incidents game 1, but coming in now, we are not going down without a fight. You may have taken 2 games off of us, but we're going to even this out and try and bring this to a game 5.
That's all you can hope for if you're rooting for the side of St. John's. You had a lot of optimism game number 1. It started to diminish and waver the last 2 games. Now you're starting to show greatness. I'm gonna get it. Oh, Gamma puts it in for the own goal off a missed touch. He tried to put that to the right side for his teammate that was rotating back, but unfortunately, of a very, very unfortunate touch, puts it into the backside of his goal, and that could very well be the nail in the coffin after what we've seen of these 2 teams, and possibly push us to a game number 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredibly unfortunate for the side of Providence there. And that, like you said, might bring us just straight into game number 5. But Providence definitely aren't going to go down without a fight. I can't imagine that they're not going to try everything in their power in the next minute here to try and score a goal, as they're already putting on so much pressure onto St. John's here. Nice little tap coming out from Gamma. Sammy just not in place there. He had essentially lured the entirety of St. John's to that right side of the goal. If Sammy was a little bit closer, he could have just pushed it into the goal.
We talk about the little mistake. Oh no! Primal had another wide open shot at the goal to put that 3-1. Again, a very small and minuscule mistake that is made by human error. It happened there on the accidental own goal, and right there once again, can he save it? No!
Gamma says, I'm sorry guys, I gave an own goal, but I'm gonna turn up the heat, I'm gonna bring it, you know, you guys have been doing really well. Here we go, score that in, even it out, 27 seconds left on the clock. This could go either way. It's probably going to overtime.
A hectic final 30 seconds here, leading into the final 30 seconds of the game, but that right there, just what it was. It was hectic. No one could have foreseen any of those circumstances happening. It was just blunders, mistakes. I touched on it literally like every single time one of these two teams have scored in the last minute in this game, but it continues to happen. 5 seconds left, up in the air. Can the side of Providence or St. John's make a play? Going towards the side of St. John's, now up in the air. Overtime we go here in game number 4. St. John's must win if they want to keep the series alive.
Yeah, St. John's winning this will bring us to game 5, but if we do see Providence managing to score this sneaky goal, we will have a game set and match going 3-1 to the side of Providence, which, again, coming after that first game, you definitely can't be too upset about.
Not at all. And folks, if you guys do not know what happens here in Rocket League overtime, I'm sure you do, but if you don't, and you haven't seen a beautiful overtime here in Rocket League, it is sudden death, just like in most sports. The first team to score will take the cake, and should it be the side of St. John's, we will have a game 5.
Yeah, I mean, and at the moment, Providence is putting in a lot of effort here, passing it Gamma passing it, the double commit onto the shot there. The goal's open though, and Primal's just going to be able to run it in, and that's going to bring us to a game number 5.
That's it right there. You see the entire side of Providence pushed up. 3 men commit to the goal, no one back to rotate, and there was one person that tried to make a slide play to be set up for the goal on the side of Providence. It cost them the rotation back to their goal, and it cost them game number 4. Now a game number 5 decides it all, and those little tiny problems and errors that they could have fixed so easily with a little bit of communication fail again in the light of the dark.
And coming in now, we are going to be getting into game number 5. I mean,
I'm ready.
Close.
My body is ready.
Yeah.
These games have progressively gotten more and more score intensive. We went 1-1-2, then 3-2, and in overtime right there. That just gets me hyped up for this last game. Each of these teams has made a little bit of a statement in each game that they've played, and St. John's has proven that they are not the team that they saw, or that we saw in games number 2 and number 3.
Yeah. Whew. I mean, bringing it out there, that was incredibly close. And managing to take it to game number 5, you're definitely not upset about it, no matter who you are. Like, everybody just wants to play more Rocket League, right?
Everybody does. And if you don't want to play more Rocket League, I can understand it at a certain point, but you gotta love it sometimes. Baseball, can it go in? No, Gamma's gonna be able to hit it off that back wall. But another touch from Primal, the animal up high and flying. Justin, can he go there for the touch? Yes, he can, but Gamma's gonna be able to fly it towards the other side. Baseball and his team and now be back for the rotations.
Whew. I mean, again, the rotations coming out here. The goal's left wide open. Sammy, though, manages to get there enough. Thank goodness he had all of that boost left, finishing with, I believe that was, what, 8 boost after just managing to touch the ball. So a little bit less, and that might have gone a very different way. And I think that's something that doesn't get mentioned a lot when talking about Rocket League. Boost management is so important.
It is key to any single game that you are in. If you can manage your boost, if you can control those big 100 boost pads, they're the most incredible thing. But also, it's not just about getting those big boost pads. It's also about getting those small ones around the field while you're rotating in different positions. And a missed opportunity there from Gamma. But Sammy on the... Oh my goodness, a beautiful save there from Primal, showing why he is a dirty, dirty boy. And now, taking it back the other way. St. John's trying to make a play with it. Gamma's up, so is Sammy, but the ball is still high and flying over the goal. Can they make a touch on it? It's going to be going back the other way.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be going back the other way there as Sammy tries to run it out. Justin intercepting it, getting a nice little rebound. Okay, back and forth a little bit. Cardona trying to find something. Sammy getting it right past two of the defenders of St. John's here. Gamma being on the other side of the map, prepping himself already as he sets it up lovely for his team, and nobody's going to be there. Cardona, though, chips it up, goes for the aerial. Oh, Sammy also going for it. The double commit, getting it back into that corner. There's a lot of back and forth going on at the moment. Both of these teams know a single mistake could cost them the series.
A single mistake indeed, and it happens at any single point in the game. You can never let your guard down, not even for a second. The ball can always come flying down the field off of an accidental pinch or something of the likewise, but either way, the side of Providence and the side of St. John's both having a lot of mid-map control right now, not wanting to let this ball into either of their sides.
Yeah, I mean, that was extremely close of when they were trying to score onto St. John's for a minute there, but now managing to gain some of the control back. St. John's definitely playing a lot more defensively than they have been.
Yeah, the last two games, I want to just point out that both of these teams have been extremely even in every single thing that they've done, but a bounce touch almost able to put it in, but Gamma is there for the save once again. Gamma has been popping off at each corner with his saves, firing on all cylinders, but let's not forget Sammy with a save of his own, as well as Cardona. Everybody on the side of Providence playing very good defense. Only one save out of the side of St. John's to 3 shots on goal compared to the 5 out of St. John.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's so back and forth. Like, all right, I believe that's one of the very few demolitions we've had this game.
Oh, there's been so little, and I was actually going to talk about that a little bit before one of the goals went in. It's just about the limited bumps that we've had in the limited demos, and I agree with you 1000% that this game has been a very non-physical altercation between both of these teams. But ball is up, fly high, middle air, but he doesn't get enough power on it. Gamma's there for the save, but Primal trying to flip it back up. Is Justin going to be there in time? No, he opts to stay back and maybe play for the rotation, but it could cost them as another save goes across. Can they get the pinch? Yes, they can, but Sammy is there to put it in bottom right. They strike first here with only a minute and 17 seconds left in game number 5, and Providence could be lethal.
Yeah, I mean, bringing it out there, finding that first goal, a minute left onto the clock, it's like, this is the time to be making those goals, right? These are the little plays when the clock runs down like this, and it's so even and so back and forth that it took, what, 3 minutes and 40 seconds for the first goal to come out? Really means that we need to see St. John's bring out something we haven't seen to score this goal. And if we see Providence finding a second goal here, which they very well might, and they do!
That hurts if you're on the side of Providence or you're watching them. He tried to get a pinch off the crossbar. It didn't work out in his favor. Instead of pinching, it fell softly right into the hands of the side of Providence. They put another goal in, but we've seen crazy comebacks before. Can we see another one here, or will it be a marginal win for the side of Providence? We have yet to find out, but a ball up in towards the middle. It's going to be a whiff, and that's going to be a shot from Primal. He's trying to claw his way back in like the filthy man he is. And so far, he's been able to do that with the first goal for the side of St. John's. A nervous play right there of a missed opportunity once again on the side of Providence.
Yeah, and coming in there, 2-1, 45 seconds left onto the clock. I mean, I said St. John's needed to make something happen, and they definitely made something happen. They're scoring a goal here. All they need to do is set Primal up. It seems to be the, that seems to be the name of the game at the moment, because I believe Primal scored all of their goals throughout the set, if we don't count game 1. I believe Justin has scored a few times as well, but Baseball!
Oh my god!
Baseball's going, alright, look, the casters are talking about the other two scoring, and I haven't had my time to shine, so I'm going to go in now, and I'm going to even it out, and we're going to probably go into overtime for this final round.
Justin had the play of the game right there. He just bumped Gamma out into the back of the goal, set up a wide open shot for his teammate. We hadn't talked, we literally were talking about it. No! Oh no! Oh no! He tried to set up the back pass for Justin, but he put it in its own goal.
Oh no!
No way! Or I'm sorry, for Primal, but either way!
Primal attempted to recover there, but he just... I mean, that ball came at him with some serious speed and just did not react fast enough here. And now we're back in the situation where St. John's just need to make a goal happen. This went from a goal every 3 to 4 minutes to... We're at 5 goals in like 40 seconds.
10 seconds is all that remain. An offensive try now from the side of St. John's. Not going to be enough, though. He puts it right down to the opposing team. But they have an opportunity to take this one back the other way. Baseball, no. He's going to make an awful touch on it. Sammy's going to put it down, and Providence takes game number 5. I don't even know how to begin to explain the series of events that just went down.
Yeah, Providence, they're taking the victory. They managed to take the series. They were a game down. They brought it back 2 games up, lost one to St. John's, bringing it to game 5, and managed to finish that off with some amazing goals. All of the heat turned up that last like minute and a half of that final round, and I would like to congratulate Providence for taking the victory. Once again, I'd like to thank our schools, St. John's and Providence, for participating, because at the end of the day, these are fun matches. These are, you know, these do matter for the seeding in the overall event, but 1 or 2 losses is not the end of the world, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody play once again. And we are going to be hopping to a quick break as we set up the final match of the day, which will be Villanova versus Butler University. So thank you all for tuning in once again, and we will be back with you in about 5 minutes.